Hello everyone and welcome back to Packs and Recreation. And today, Justy the Dragon, you know what time it is? It's time for the dragons, baby. And yes, sorry, I thought I had other playmats with dragons and I was like, yeah, I don't need to buy any from Dragonstorm. And to my surprise, if you don't count like the battle scenes from the Lord of the Rings, this is the only playmat I have with the dragon, which is Niv Mizzet, which is from Ravnica. But it counts as a dragon, right? So you have to bear with me for a second because I didn't want to wait more for the playmats. Today, as you saw, we are doing the pre-releases from Tarkir Dragonstorm. And man, do I have an opinion about this set. This set is great. Why? Well, for multiple reasons. I mean, for once, it's an actual Magic the Gathering set with the Magic the Gathering IP with actual flavor. To the point that you can even see it in my voice. My voice is the voice of a sick person. So, I can't postpone this anymore. This was actually kind of hard to get my hands on, like same with the Commander decks and so on. It's as hard and frustrating as it is exciting that this set is as successful as it is and people are going nuts about it because hopefully we'll send the right message to Wizards of the Coast. And, you know, not only like Final Fantasy and whatnot. And even though technically on paper, since I am a gamer boy, the Final Fantasy set is technically or should technically be the one that I should be the most excited about, and I am. And I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. The one that I was the most excited about is this one. I am kind of curious about Age of Eternities, and I was mildly curious about Either Drift, and well, I saw the execution. I didn't like it that much, but Tarkir Dragonstorm is just what we need. It's just a set of Magic. Now, the disappointing aspect is that, yes, in times of future past, this set will have been, you know, like a two set story or three set story, right? You had like Tarkir Dragonstorm, Tarkir Dragon Fire and Ice, and Tarkir Dragon A Tale of Going and Coming. I don't know, but now it's like everything is condensed in a single one. Now, the same way we have 5 Commander decks, we also have 5 pre-releases, one for each of the clans. So Abzan, Jeskai, Sultai, Mardu, and Temur. And the exciting thing is that, well, by the point this video goes out, all of you technically already went to the pre-release. The idea, the magic, get it, is that this is technically like when you did Ravnica back in the day, you pick one and you stick with it. So this is kind of similar. They simplified our lives a little bit by going with the color wheel, even though, you know, each of these is 3 colors at the same time. But they kind of went like, you know, white, blue, black, red, green. So it isn't obvious at the beginning because it's like purple and yellow, but those are black and white, right? So in Magic. So yeah, these are the pre-releases. You are not expected to buy all 5 of them. That's only if you are sick, like me. Sick, literally, not sick as in radical, dude. So Abzan, Jeskai, Sultai, Mardu, and Temur. And in case you are new to this, yes, those are the clans that give the names to the 3 color combinations. So they went with, you know, the leading color is the one that paints the picture, kind of. So Abzan, Jeskai, Sultai, Mardu, and Temur, and we're going to start in that precise order with Abzan. So let's see what's in store for an Abzan pre-release. So the scales are here. This is a pretty cool detail. You know, these are the small things we live on. Amen. So Abzan, stalwart warriors with strong familial bonds who summon their ancestors' spirits. They preserve the history and lineage of their clan through impenetrable defenses and sacred ancestral kin trees. And you have the symbols here with the magic symbol with the 5 dragon heads, which is cool as f. And you get the tokens, no, the counters, sorry, not tokens. And double-sided and whatnot. And obviously you get the box. That is the one thing that you likely are to keep. You get some some classic Magic the Gathering paintings on the back, and a two-sided mini divider. And this is the box itself, which is pretty cool. Everything that is like the symbol and the thing, I love it. Like for Ravnica, I just love this. Now the die, for good or for better or worse, like here, whichever clan you buy, you get that die, right? So there is no much randomness here. That's the die that you're gonna get. It is what it is. In this case, it's the absent die, which there you go. Here you can see the thing. It's actually pretty nice. We're gonna put it here, or maybe, I don't know, maybe here, because we're gonna open all of them and then we're gonna compare them at the end. And what else can you get in here? Not much. This is the basic pre-release box. So nothing too crazy, but we do get a divider with the absent colors and a illustration that I can't really put my finger on, so we'll see in a second. And a explanation of each of the clans, which we're gonna read only once. Well, actually not really, because all the explanations are the same explanation that is inside the box. It's how to build a pre-release deck, which shouldn't be new to any of you watching at home, and you get 5 boosters. And you will be like, well, 5 boosters? Wizards is really getting worse. And it's like, well, because this is a 6 booster. This is the fun thing. They did the same back in the day with Ravnica, which I guess is appropriate that Niv Mizzet is here. But basically, is an absent booster plus the pre-release promo card. So everything is random, but this one is ensured to be in the colors of the clan. And it's a paper booster because go Europe, I guess. So there is little chance that I'm going to be able to ninja this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to open all of them. Well, I'm going to open all of them right now, I guess, as we go. And the subsequent pre-releases are going to be faster. I'm not going to go into detail with all of them, just with the first one. And I'm going to save you the pain of listening to my voice reading all the card names, because most of these are commons and uncommons, because this is the pre-release pack. So this is the play booster. This is what you normally get, well, technically to play with. And it's kind of a mix between a set booster and a draft booster, while being none at the same time. The Sipsix Ceremony, not bad. Ooh, Jeskai Shrinekeeper. The card is nothing crazy, but hey, look at the design and look at the foil. Ooh, great. So there's that. Swift Water Cliffs, and Warrior Dragon, the best combo for a set like Tarkir. All right, so we're gonna do this like your regular YouTuber, so not so much packs and recreation style, but like regular card YouTubers. So we could even go the craziest style, which is not even doing this, is even faster. It's going like and going directly to the card. But I still want to give some thoughts about this set. It's interesting what they did with this set in terms of Awaken the Honor Dead with the mana fixing and whatnot, and still has emotion, not bad. They really tried to do the 3-color combinations, and at the same time not giving us too much, too much of a good mana fix. So at the end of the day, it always feels half-assed. Not half-assed 100%, but at least for a standard play, you shouldn't have any problem. But for draft, well, for draft is actually a very good set to draft. This is the interesting thing about the play boosters, right? The play boosters are supposed to be both things, set and draft boosters, right? If you are too new to Magic, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Now, the fun thing is that while trying to do that, nice, Stonecrafter Mage in that specific treatment that really makes them feel like a flesh and blood card. Weird. Desperate Measures in foil. Bosoming Sands in foil. And a Spirit Token is also Spirit Token. Not bad. At least we don't get ad cards anymore. Thank God. The funny thing about this being a 2-in-1 kind of booster is that they kind of got themselves into a corner in regards to what is it that they need to put in here to make this work. And if you were in a pre-release, you know exactly the problems. Like if you are supposed to be playing a 3-color combination, the mana fix that has to come by default in these boosters, it has to be a little bit above edge. Oh, CDC, Regent of the Mire, nice. If it isn't, then you're gonna be stranded halfway through your pre-release, which, you know, happened to more than one person, which is sad because, for example, we pulled all these cards, right? And we went for an Abzan pre-release, right? And this is the reason why I'm opening them like this instead of opening everything and then putting all the cards together at the end. If you do your math, if this was your pre-release, right, and you have to build a deck with what you got, obviously it depends on the cards and depends a lot on the multicolors, which happily they decided to go with this flexible design of like, well, it's green, blue, and red, but if not, you can just pay 2 mana instead of the color, and that should fix it for you, right? And that's kind of good because that is what enables you to make a deck on the spot, because cards like these are a lot less flexible. Stadium Headliner. Ooh, Marang River Regent in foil, not bad. Rugged Highlands, and a copy. There's also a Monk. See, so this will be our Abzan pre-release, and now this will be the booster. And I will try to ninja it. Not very successful, may I add, because paper wrappers are what they are. Oh well, it wasn't as difficult as I was expecting. So, there you go. So, the joke here is that you get a promo, which in our case is Stillness in Motion. Not bad. Not crazy, but not bad. And you get the Absent cards. So the Absent cards in this case is the Absent pack. You get Yathan Road Watcher, not bad. Sunstep Citadel, Marshal of the Lost. So this should be, you know, the joke here is that if you're going for this, for a specific pre-release color, which the worst thing that can happen is that when you get to your local game store, they don't have the color that you want anymore. So you kind of, well, the tribe that you want anymore. So you kind of have to fix yourself with whatever you have. That sucks, but it is what it is, right? But those 15 cards likely are going to be half of your deck, right? Like, according to just to refresh your memory. And by the way, if you buy this after the fact, like I did, you can still do the pre-release. Like, this is basically the pre-release. You just, and that's it. You have your Absent one. So you need to have 40 cards exactly. So 15 cards are already a given. So, you know, that if you want to build on those colors. Now, I saw some people at the pre-release that they kind of didn't build the colors that they were supposed to build by default, right? Like, Act as One, very cool. What do I mean? Well, led by monk practitioners of the way, seeking unity of thought and a shared understanding of reality. Precise, compassionate, and rigorous, the Jeskai consider it their duty to guide Tarkir to a better future. Very blue. So, same logic, same markers, different art. The art in this case, more Jeskai appropriate, obviously. Now the Jeskai box. At the end, this all comes down to personal preference, but the Jeskai die, which has ruffled some feathers, or should I say scales, mostly because, well, Jeskai does have red. Maybe you wouldn't expect it to be mostly red, the die, but it is what it is. And same treatment with everything else, a very cool box. The rule book, the divider, and all the boosters plus the specific boosters. Now, one thing that has to be said about the Tarkir launch is that it seems like Wizards just can't catch a break, can't catch a W, as the younger ones will say, Why? Because, well, everyone was very excited about this set. People kind of buried, too soon Either Drift, just like because people were like, nah, skipping this one, saving my money for Dragonstorm, which, rightfully so, I will say. And which, ironically, just turned everything in Perenation. Turned everything in Either Drift a lot cheaper to get, including the commander decks. But everything in this set screams home run, right? It's like, oh, we're back to Tarkir. People love Tarkir. We're doing 5 pre-releases. We're doing 5 commander decks, 1 per each. For each of the cans, right? And everything was in there. And now I haven't seen this in European cards, but I have seen a lot of posts about American cards. Now, in case you're new to this, a reminder: Wizards prints their cards mostly on 3 locations. So for Europe is in Belgium, in the US is somewhere in the US. I don't remember the place in the US. And for half of Asia is in Japan. For the other half, I swear I don't remember what it is. I will need to check. Now, this creates a lot of mysticism and a lot of debate. A lot of people say that the best cards in terms of quality are the ones printed in Japan. Now, there is half true to that, and there is half fetishism with Japanese, with Japanese stuff. You know that meme, right? It's like a random European town, I don't care, but the same picture, it says whatever the place, Japan, and it's like, wow, that's great, right? So similar logic is like, well, yes, it's true that the cards are higher quality by default, but what actually makes them quote-unquote higher quality by default is that they are printed in Japan, and therefore the humidity of Japan is higher than, in other, or like Belgium or the US, which makes their foils harder to curl easily like the others, because that's kind of what determines the level of humidity that the card has and how much it will be it will take for it to curl, etc. Right? So that's the legend, that's the myth. And then, well, there's actually also the fact that all the Japanese cards I bought, they smell nice. And if you follow this channel, you know that we smell our cards here. So funny enough, the cards from the US and from Belgium, they just smell like ink. And I don't say that as a compliment. So apparently, the cards printed in the US have a lot of quality issues, which really makes this a big L for, well, kind of an L. Let's not destroy the whole set based on some issues. But it's sad, like because some people are on a crusade against Wizards and be like, yeah, well, whatever. They need to, bring back my classic Magic and destroy the stakeholders and yada yada whatnot, right? And mind you, I am the first person that is in this channel defending the lore of Magic, the old times of Magic, how I would prefer that all sets are with Magic lore, how I would like to, oh, that's it, nice, how I would like to have like a Magic the Gathering series, or, it looks like we are waiting for a Magic the Gathering series for Wizards to be like, oh, that's right, we have lore, we don't need Universes Beyond, right? But the truth is that as long as Universes Beyond sells the way it's selling, it is what it is, my friends. So, like, there is only so much that we can do. And because of that, we do need to acknowledge the situation at hand. Now, I will be defending my old school Magic until the cows come home, and I will prefer that, we don't have 8 sets per year. I would prefer something closer to like what Flesh and Blood is doing, even Pokemon, something that allows you some time to breathe, some time to save money, some time to actually buy things. Oh, nice, Dragonfire Blade. Like something that will just give you a breather, so that it doesn't feel like we're in a race constantly. Like we're opening, I'm doing this video for Tarkir Dragonstorm, and I really feel like I am late for Final Fantasy, and because the spoilers are already out, and it's just a crazy reason. It's is unmanageable. And yes, Wizards will tell you like, yeah, well, you don't have to own everything. Thunder of Unity is the promo for this one. Not bad. It looks like a mirror. Now, in case it's not clear, the promo doesn't follow the pattern of the booster. New way forward. Okay, not bad. And so all this to say, I will be the first one on the trenches being like, yeah, bring back my old stuff. And not because everything all was better, but just because I really like Magic the Gathering, you know, as a thing, like its lore and all the things. So I do enjoy, you know, whatnot. I do enjoy the Lord of the Rings set. I do enjoy the Doctor Who set. As I said multiple times in this channel, the Doctor Who set was the one that brought me to Doctor Who. I didn't watch Doctor Who until I played with the cards. Nothing goes to waste. Sultai, adept at transforming challenge into opportunity. They'll cultivate sprawling land into farms and cities. Not even death can stop the Sultai, as their powerful necromancers raise the honor of death to continue leading and serving. So same logic but purple, and a Sultai illustration. Not to be confused with Salte, which is a different term. So the boxes are beautiful. The colors that they chose to go with are just beautiful. The die are really kind of unpredictable. If you never saw them, right, you will be like, oh, well, I guess the die will be purple. It's like, nope. Same card guide. Well, by the way, the dividers I haven't shown you, but, you know. I do think, however, let me just check quickly. No, they are kind of tables just planning things with each other, but not directly related. So there's the Boosterino. Here are the 5. So again, as I was saying, I will be the first one to be like, no, give me my old stuff back. But I don't wish, you know, harm at Wizards. I'm not like, yo, I hope this set crashes and burns. It's like, well, if there's one set I don't wish it crashes and burns, it's this one. Now, why I say this? Because there's a lot of people that just sees all the quality control issues and you go like, hey, they deserve it. And to me, it's just sad. You know, if you want to get like conspiranoic, there is a part of me that is like, ooh, Tiger Master opportunities. There is a part of me that is like, did they gamble that? They were like, nah, people are buying this anyway, so just don't pay for the extra quality control at the factory. You know what I mean? Like, just ship them as they are. They will buy it anyways. Maybe if you want to get like extra conspiranoid, maybe, because even if they know that, for example, Final Fantasy will sell like you know, like French fries, they can just do bad quality control on a third-party product because, well, they are not damaging only their brand but their partner's brand. But I do want to say that I do want to believe that it's not a conspiracy. It's just like bad luck. It does feel awfully convenient, right? That the one set that is Dragonologist, not bad, that is full of issues, is the one that everyone was waiting for. I don't think that Age of Eternities is a unwanted set by any means, because a lot of people are saying that this is the only good set of the year now. I do believe that this set is the equivalent of Bloomborough for last year. Like, Bloomborough was the one set that felt like Magic the Gathering while playing and had the better construction and the most possibilities. So I do feel this is the same. So this is 2025's Bloomborough and happily came earlier. Age of Eternities will be along the way of like Duskmourn. You know, like if you really like the theme, it feels, again, until we see the actual cards and whatnot, I may be very wrong. Ooh, the Civ 6 ceremony. Nice. I can be very wrong, but my theory here is that until you see the actual cards of Age of Eternities, it will be something like Duskmourn, which is a good set. You know, it's not a crazy set. It's a good set, but it really banks on you liking the theme. So if you like the theme, great. For example, I like the theme for Duskmourn like 60%. Like I love the fact that the plane was a house. It was kind of weird. I mean, in my opinion, it should have been Innistrad, but whatever, I get it. And I liked the whole thing of the demon and whatnot, of Valgavoth and whatnot, right? I love the whole theme. I don't necessarily like horror movies and whatnot. I know it's gimmicky, but I liked it. I don't necessarily like the fact that they added like 80s as a concept, so you have like Ghostbuster tech and whatnot. That I see why. It's like, oh, it's 80s, so put everything 80s in there. It kind of felt like they are 2 years later to do Stranger Things, which makes sense because let's remember that they designed the sets 2 years in advance. So maybe that's a problem. But even to do like Stranger Things, it feels like it's still coming late. Like if it was to bank on Stranger Things, it feels like 5 years later. You know what I mean? 5 years too late. It's weird to say something. But yeah, Age of Eternities feels like that. Like if you like a space and you don't mind that in your Magic the Gathering cards, Age of Eternities feels like that set, which to me, you know, it's cool. Again, it depends a little bit on the twist that they will give the flavor. Ooh, Elspeth, let's go. Elspeth Stormslayer, which I could swear that these are more or less the same as the one on March of the Machine. This thing is more or less broken. For 3 and 2 white is the 5 loyalty planeswalker that says if one or more tokens will be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. +1, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. 0, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain flying. And -3, destroy target creature opponent controls with mana value 3 or greater. So, not a bad pull. The best one of all the pre-releases so far, I will say. Now, everyone is hunting the Mox and the Ugin and whatnot. Let's see the Sultai or Sultai booster, paper booster, because F my life. I will say that there is also one thing that helps this set a lot to be like, ooh, Dark of an Encampment. Okay, not bad. I mean, it kind of feels bad that your promo card is a land, but you know. Naga Fleshcrafter, okay. And then the cards for Sultai. One thing that also helps a lot, as I was saying, is that, well, it's dragons, right? Like dragons are mythical enough and generic enough that, yeah, it feels like Magic the Gathering. It just feels like generic fantasy. Now, it's funny because Tarkir is one of those sets that, while it feels like Magic the Gathering, and it kind of, you know, steps on Arabian Nights and whatnot, you know, it's basically the Mongols, right? With the cans and whatnot. With the Mardu now. It does feel on that area, you know what I mean? There to keep up. Nomads who defend and expand their vast territory through agile tactics and the exploitation of weakness, a unified force, the Mardu are revered for their lightning-wielding fighters, expert beast riders, and commitment to their clan. Beautiful box. There are a few pre-releases where the boxes are just hit, and it's funny because if you look at these, you know, with the basic colors and whatnot, they really felt like Commander Masters. Oh, nice. Nice, not bad. And it's fun because in the case of Ultra Pro, they also have specific, again, the same, the pre-release, the divider, and the boosters. Let's get right to it. You can see that sometimes less is more. At least I feel that way with Magic. I don't know how you guys feel. No, some people sometimes comment on the video saying when I open bundles and whatnot, and I really prefer bundles that are like these pre-releases, like single color with the art up front, really catching the eye. And a lot of people are like, no, I prefer when they have backgrounds and you can see the whole world behind them and whatnot. I guess it depends on the art, as with everything. But if you make me do like a nice cyber welding, if you make me do like a blind guessing, I will always say, nah, just give me like monocolor Magic. It just works. That's kind of my safe bet thing. Now, people don't agree with that. That's cool. Art is subjective, taste is subjective. It is what it is. But I do like this thing even more when we're talking about like clans or guilds or whatnot, and they have like a very strong identity. That type of thing always rings my bell. Like seeing the color identity is very well defined and all that. It's really Dragon Black Assault, nice. It just really works. So it's something that I wish Wizards will do more, but I guess it depends on the set. This set, again, to me, it feels like a home run. The 5 pre-releases with the clans and the 5 colors and everything, like very well organized and strong color identities and very draftable, very buildable. The 5 commander decks, going back to a Magic plane, going back to something that actually makes the story of Magic feel like it's moving again in a meaningful way, because even though it feels like we are jumping episodes because it's like, oh, we're back at the Tarkir. By the way, the Phyrexia thing, we already moved past that. It's like, what? Show me the recoverage, man. Show me how they came back from it. An Offensa, nice. It's like no. Now we're talking about the Dragonstorm. It's like, well, I mean, I love the concept, but can you please? And it's the consequence of like before we told stories in 3 sets per plane or something, and now it's like 1 plane, 1 set, 1 opportunity, pam pam, tan tan, and it's like you need to tell as much story as you can in that little space, and it feels cramped. Even when they releasing like the stories 5 weeks in advance, one per week and whatnot. And yeah, some people say like it's the quality of the writers they hired, which I don't want to give them too much hate. I mean, you have to condense everything into not that much space. So Thunder Affinity, it's true that it feels like they could make a better job at it sometimes, right? But yeah, but I don't want to give free hate. At least this feels like, oh, we're doing stuff again, and Elspeth is here. Elspeth somehow now feels like a proper protagonist for Magic instead of Jace. Jace is doing whatever. I don't understand what the hell Jace is doing. If you try to see the story of Magic the Gathering, which I try to follow it up because, again, I love the lore of Magic, and I try to see what's up and try to follow up on it and whatnot. And it's very difficult, and it's not because it's difficult to follow on the cards. I mean, it is kind of. If you only follow the cards, it's shit. You have to go to the Magic, to the Wizards page, and read the story beats. And even with that, it's not 100% clear a lot of the time. So you really sometimes you need external help. And there is this channel that I love called Magic Arcanum with Ryan Gomez, and that guy. I mean, God bless his heart. That guy is great. He's not the only one. Oh, fuck, I missed this one. He's not the. Well, I guess it makes sense. It was Mardu. He's not the only one running the channel. I just always forget the name of his co-worker, but I will try to remember. Revival of Ancestors, not bad, because and Zurgo, because he explains the lore of Magic in one of the best ways online ever, right? So look it up, Magic Arcanum. He explains the lore of Magic beautifully. And he has this segment of videos called What Happens in X, X being the name of the set. And the best, to me, on the internet is the best way to follow up like what's up on each Magic the Gathering set. You know what I mean? Because again, now so much happens that is like impossible to follow. And he actually, you can tell that he cares about this. He does this beautifully. Hear the land's wisdom. Well, tree huggers, so green, of course. As semi-nomadic people who thrive in the northern mountain terrain, living in concert with their environment. They are expert hunters, gatherers, and herders, working alongside their formidable animal companions. And, you know, and this is kind of a solo rant thing, you know, when you don't care that much about something until you see someone else, well, this is nice, until you see someone else affected by it, and that really makes you think. Well, that happened to me and Magic due to Magic Arcanum. And you may be thinking, sorry, what? And it's like, the Magic Arcanum is one of those channels that really cares about the story of Magic the Gathering, right? So they document the thing, they explain everything, they show you the story spotlight cards and whatnot. And you can really feel the passion. You know, when you talk to someone that really loves something, and or maybe you hear them talking about it, right? Like, which I hope it conveys when I'm talking about cards and whatnot. But when Ryan is talking about the lore of Magic, it just hits, right? Like you're listening to this guy and you're like, man, I wish my history professor was like this, right? The guy you can tell he loves Magic, and he's going into detail, and he really conveys this love of the game. Because let's be honest, to a degree, no matter what type of content you are doing, if you're doing content on Magic the Gathering, it's because you like Magic the Gathering, right? Like, it will be very foolish for anyone to start doing Magic the Gathering content with the mere intention of getting rich. You know, it's not the most profitable YouTube venture. Like, if you want to get quote unquote rich doing Magic the Gathering content, get in line, Paul. Like, you know, when the most successful channels are The Professor and Game Nights, which I forgot the name of the channel. I just remember the name of the show. And only the Prof has 1 million subscribers, and it was certainly an effort. You know, this is not. I mean, yes, sure, they make money, but this is not for the money. If you want to make quick money, you can just go to drama or to YouTube gaming or whatnot. You know, if you talk about Magic, it's mostly because you love the game. Which is kind of the story of our relationship with Wizards. We love the game. Wizards doesn't love us that much, and we have this abusive love-hate relationship with them. And we just keep saying like, no, but the game is so great. And we just, you know, the players are the ones that make the selling. Like, I came back to Magic because of the Prof, because he talked with such passion. I was like, you know what? Yeah, okay, let's go back to this thing. Let's try again. And people always say that the Prof is the most negative ever and blah, 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 right? And Wizards certainly hates his guts. And to me, he was the one making me come back to Wizards. And if you follow this channel, I already gave plenty of money to Wizards, so they can be thankful to the Prof. And with Ryan, it's more or less the same, right? It's like, you see the videos from Magic Arcanum, you're like, man, the lore is on point. This guy is really explaining it. It's lovely. And in the Either Drift video, I saw a man that was tired. I saw a man that had one of his hobbies, hobbies, not hobbies, one of his hobbies deteriorate in front of him, you know, like running away from between his fingers. And it really pained me. Like, why? Because you will see that he was like, well, this happened or not, maybe not, you know, why, who cares? Because If the writers don't care, if Wizards don't care, there is only so much that the fans can do before they stop caring again. And one of the reasons why this set excites me is actually to wait for the video of what happens in Tarkir Dragonstorm from Magic Arcanum. Because, those are the highlights for me. Those are the things. And I hope that this kind of rekindles Ryan's interest and love for Magic, but I can feel he's born off. Another Elspeth, nice. You can feel like he being like born out with this, and to a degree, I understand. Me myself, like I also feel burned out a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I used to be like I moved from being a kid that couldn't afford any pack of cards whatsoever. And they just keep getting worse and worse. And let's remember that I am a Yu-Gi-Oh kid, right? I got into Magic later in life, but Warden of the Grove. Well, at least this one is on matching with the booster. Not bad. Now you see the pulls on Reddit, and people get crazy pulls. And I went from not being able to afford a single pack to all the things you see in this channel. And at the beginning, I was like, man, yes, let's go. And then the product releasing so much, one after the other, just start getting to me. It's like, man, I can't keep up. And now even if I can keep up, I can't keep up with the market. If I am like, man, Final Fantasy and Magic, get me in that ship. I can't, because the scalpers and the market and whatnot, they move faster. So it stops becoming a hobby, it becomes a job. And a lot of people just say, listen, just buy the singles. Like, sure, but I don't want to pay $50 for a card that I may use or may not use. People, so the solution, people on my game groups and my tables just keep saying like, just let's go to proxies, man, like F it. And it's hard to not say yes to that, because it's like, well, instead of me sweating for the cards I want, and mind you, it's not even just to buy sealed product is becoming a hard activity. So it gets to a point that it's just like, listen, my content creators are getting burned out. I can't buy the product. I don't want to pay that crazy overpriced for singles. What's up with this? I know a lot of people in the background are yelling like, play Flesh and Blood. It's like, sure, I'm trying. But I try to convince my commander pod to play Flesh and Blood. I'm trying. Don't get me wrong. But Tarkir is a step in the right direction. And this pre-release was very fun. I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun opening this one. I love all the thematic pre-releases. I know that if every pre-release is special, no pre-release is special, but I love it when we do things like this. This felt like Wizards coming back to the origins of like, okay, let's do 5 because there are 5 tribes, right? Let's go with it, and each of them comes with a specific booster. I know that it gives them more, it's more difficult for them, but it's just cool. I know it removes some of the R&D, some of the randomness of like, oh, what dice did you get? Because they are tied to the pre-release that you get. Still, there is a specific color that I have seen online, but look at this, very pretty. So I don't know. Overall, I am excited about this set. You will see as we open more stuff, and when I finally get to do the video on the commander decks, because 5 commander decks, it's a cool thing because of flavor, but it's a shitty thing to do because of playtesting, because it's 5 commander decks, and normally you play commander with 4 people, so rotating those is a bitch. So we're getting there. I'm trying to give my honest impressions. In the meantime, tell me which of these dice do you think is the prettiest and the one that you would like, and which of these boxes, like what was if you went to the pre-release, which one did you pick, and if you didn't, which one would you have picked? And if you haven't checked Ryan's channel, Magic Arcanum, go check it, because really it's a really good channel from a really good person that I feel is, like many other people, is losing their spark. Get it? For this game, and the Planeswalkers may have lost their spark, but we should not allow Wizards to remove it from us players, the other Planeswalkers. See, this is oddly poetic, but yeah, don't want to be a bummer. Overall, my feelings with Tarkir Dragonstorm are very positive. This is this year's Bloomburrow. I am very excited about it. Visually, it's stunning. Some cards are kind of broken, Ugin mostly, and at least in my opinion. And you know, if you have a Earth Dragon deck, this is certainly the set for you, because you have a lot of things to get from this set. If you don't like dragons, well, wait for Final Fantasy, which ironically kind of may have some dragons depending on where they put their money. But yeah, so let me know down below what you prefer in terms of cans, what you prefer in terms of dice, what you prefer in terms of where Magic is going, and I will see you next time on your favorite channel, Mr. Packs and Recreation. Bye.